Mark Ray Monday from MMAfighting.com here in Tokyo, Japan, with Demetrious Johnson ahead of one championship, a new era. DJ, you fight Yuya Wakamatsu in the flyweight Grand Prix on Sunday, March 31st at Sumo Hall. How is this week going for you, man? I mean, this is a whole new experience. Your one debut. How has this whole week been?
It's been going good, honestly. You know, we got out here Sunday to get just the time zone. Weight situation is fantastic. You know, I weighed in once already today, 134, and some change, and fully hydrated. So we're just relaxing, going through the motions, still training at night. We've been doing kind of like the foreigner thing, jumping on the train, going to Omori, and then going to Abe's gym at Gold's gym. And then we've been washing our clothes in the tub. So it's been a good time, man.
Washing our clothes in a tub?
Yeah, Matt taught me that. So those two Yahoo right there, they have the hotel clean it, come out to be, you know, some expensive change. And Matt goes, you guys just gotta wash your clothes in the tub, dog. And I was like, I haven't washed my clothes. I've been washing my clothes in the tub. Just taking in the whole foreigner coming to a different country to compete, right? So obviously I have the financial to pay somebody to wash my clothes, but why not go through it where I'm, you know, scrubbing my drawers and then hang them up and let them dry? So it's kind of fun.
Look at you. It's like going back to like your roots, like a young fighter. Either DIY, do it yourself.
That's right, pretty much.
You before UFC 227, your last fight in the UFC, someone had asked you at the open workouts about, you know, what your goals are and what would be ideal for you, and you mentioned kind of inexplicably that it would be really cool to travel the world, defend my title, go to one championship. Now, this was not on the horizon then. This was just something you said, right? Because it is kind of coincidence how you said that then, and now here we are.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, obviously in that time frame, I was ready to fight against Henry Cejudo, and every single time I step into whether it's a cage or a ring, I expect to come out, you know, with a W. So, obviously, I think, you know, being a champion in North America for so long, for 6 years straight, 11 consecutive title defenses, if I was to, when I look back on it, if I was to win that fight, then it would be just another title fight, and then another title fight, same promo, same thing over and over and over. And like for me, I know I have possibly five years left in this game, and so I was like, you know, it'd be cool if I was able to travel the world and be able to compete over in Asia. You look at all the great athletes who ever competed in mixed martial arts: Rampage Jackson, Krokop, Fedor Emelianenko, Jacare, Geggo Mousasi. I mean, the list just goes on. Those guys made a name here in Japan, and they went over to the States. I made a name of myself in the States and a little bit of a name of myself in Japan. Now here I am competing in Japan.
So I want to ask you how the trade came together, because it was the first of its kind in the history of the sport. And I don't think it was anything that people even thought could happen. So from your perspective, what was like when were you first told that was a possibility, and how did it what was like the step-by-step process?
Well, obviously I'm managed by first-round management, Maki and Abe. They're the best in the business. I basically went to those guys and I said, hey, this is what I want to have happen. Like, do you think you get him out of contract? And Maki's like, I get you out of contract right now, dog. And I was like, all right, go do it. And then Maki basically did what he does best, make deals happen, and boom, here we are.
So this was actually your inkling. This was kind of like your idea.
Well, it wasn't my idea for the trade. It was just my idea to be, do you think you can release me from my contract, right? And then Maki goes, yeah, I'll see what I can do. And it was all up to him. Like he did all this stuff, and obviously won a championship, and the UFC had some stuff. You know, they came together and came up with this orchestrated plan, and it worked out.
Why did you want out of your contract? Because I mean, I'm sure you're making decent money in the UFC, and the UFC is a goal for so many fighters. So why did you want out?
Why not? I mean, like I said, if I was to, so hindsight, if I were to be under the UFC roster, I would probably be getting a rematch with Henry Cejudo. And if I was to beat Henry Cejudo, then who knows what would have been next. If I would have lost to Henry Cejudo, then I would be right where I was. So why not take the opportunity to get out of my contract? I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go travel the world and compete somewhere else, right? I mean, I've done everything that you possibly, my personal opinion, done everything possibly you can in North America besides, you know, sell 2.5 million pay-per-views and do the double champ or whatever it is. So for me, I think me coming here to Asia to fight in front of a audience that respects smaller weight classes, I wasn't going to pass it up.
So you asked Malky to get your release from the UFC,
Yep.
and then this trade comes together. And I mean, I guess it's a trade in name, but I guess it's a little bit more complicated than that because they had to release Ben Askren, the UFC had to release you, and then you guys kind of signed contracts with those other, vice versa. So when did the whole like trade thing come down, and what was your feelings on that?
I was doing a lot of traveling at the time, and so I found out the trade was like going to happen and finalize when I actually landed. I think it was TwitchCon, something like that. We couldn't announce it yet, but everything was done, and I was pumped. I was ecstatic, and I think Ben Askren was ecstatic too. And I think at the end of the day, both sides of the organization got what they wanted. I mean, you look at Ben Askren; he's making waves over there, calling everybody out on social media. So he fits that brand. That's what that brand likes to push, right? I mean, in my personal opinion, like if I look at it, that's what that brand likes to push. And then you look at, One Championship brand, my whole entire life as a martial artist and my whole mixed martial arts career, I've never, belittled my opponents. I've always showed respect after my competitions. I help my opponents back up, say, hey, dude, it's not, after I've beaten a lot of those guys, I'm like, it's not the end of the world. Like, at the end of the day, it's about making enough money to take care of your family. Like, wins and losses happen in mixed martial arts. But at the end of the day, I hope you can be focused on taking care of what matters most, which is your family.
So you said that Asia has traditionally respected the lower weight classes, the smaller weight classes, which is 100% true. I guess my question is, in the U.S. and in North America, is it that they don't respect the weight class enough, or was it not promoted well enough? Why do you think that it didn't? Because I mean, I guess the company line from the UFC over the past few months is that the flyweight division never caught on. So I guess my question is why? Why do you think that didn't happen?
Honestly, I can't tell you, right? Like, for example, I don't like chocolate cake. You can't sell me on chocolate.
You don't like chocolate cake?
I don't like chocolate cake. If it was my birthday and my wife was like, I'm going to make you chocolate cake, I'm like, you might want to think twice about coming to my birthday party. I love vanilla cake. It's just how I've always been. It's something I enjoy and I taste. I just like the taste of it. So when I put that in context with why smaller weight classes never caught on in America, it could possibly be that we're not the average size of the average male, right? Like, I did my weight check, got my gloves, and I was like, I need a large. Like, smalls and mediums are too small for me. I need a large. And he goes, oh, we're sorry, this is Asian size. I'm like, no, I understand. So I'm actually, I guess you say average height over here in Asia, which I think it shows them they have more respect for it. And you think about their athletes, right? Asia superstars are sumo wrestlers and mixed martial artists, right? And you have Shuto, Pride. I mean, you look at the Philippines. They have Wushu. All guys who are my height. So it just resonates more with the audience over here.
So you're in this flyweight Grand Prix now, fighting again Yuya Wakamatsu. There's perception that because of who you are and because of what you did in the UFC, that you're just going to come in here and run through this draw. But I don't imagine that you're taking it that way, right?
No, not at all. That's the perception on North America audience, is that even when the true fans of mixed martial arts, they know that there's a bigger world out there than just the UFC, Bellator, PFL, LFA, whatever there is, right? You look at the grand scheme of things, there's just a big world. I always say there's a bigger fish in the sea. So coming over here to Japan to fight against Yuya Wakamatsu, it's no joke. He's got a lot of first-round finishes. He was a Pancras flyweight tournament champion. So he's legit.
Any idea when they would want to have you turn around to fight in the next round if you were to win on Sunday?
I'm not sure. So right now I'm just focused on Sunday, and then obviously I always occur injuries in the fight because I go 100%, and we'll see what happens.
Because I guess with the tournament structure, right, it's like there is some pressure to kind of get it done.
No, honestly, not to get it done. You know what I mean? If I'm healthy, ready to go, then yeah, there will be pressure. But I always get myself, after all my fights, I always sustain some injuries because I'm 32 years old now, so shit happens, right? I mean, last fight, tear my LCL, popliteus tear, and a lot of soft tissue damage on my foot. So I had to take a while to get that healed. Had to go on some medication to get the blood clot out of me. So there's a lot of stuff that happens when you fight. When people think when you fight, it's, oh, this happens, you're done. You can fight in, 2 months. No, there's actual legit medical stuff you need to make sure you're cleared for just to train. And once you get your 8 weeks and 9 weeks in, then you can look to get into the next round of the tournament. If I can't get into the next round of the tournament because I'm injured, okay, that's fine. Then they just move on without me, or we'll cross that bridge when it happens.
You had mentioned at the press conference yesterday that this is the first fight in a long time that Matt Hume won't be in your corner, and of course he can't be because he's a one championship exec. Is that a big deal? A bigger deal than maybe some fans who don't train, who don't fight, may not understand how big of a deal that is?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you look at it. Imagine if the Seattle Seahawks were to play a game without Pete Carroll. I mean, that's essentially you can look at it. Or I always put up, look at TJ Dillashaw. If he was to fight without Dwayne Ludwig in his corner. You look at those athletes out there who have a great synergy with the coach and athlete relationship, and it makes them successful. That's basically what I'm going to have to go through. But, me and Matt, we sat down, we talked about it, and he says, dude, we've already accomplished everything we can in mixed martial arts, and let's go on a new adventure. And this is a stepping of evolution for yourself as an athlete to where you're going to go out there and compete without your master, essentially. So, it's not a, of course, I would love to be there and be in your corner and support you, which I will be, but I just can't speak to you. He won't be in the corner, but he'll be in the arena watching me compete. So it's just an evolution, you know what I mean, of an athlete. And I'm excited for this journey, I guess you can say, because, when you look at synergy, it's like John Jones fighting without Greg Jackson, I'm sure he's going to do very well, but there's going to be key opponents that when he comes back to sit down after the round where Greg Jackson's like, okay, John, relax. You know what you need to do. Mr. Winkle, John. And then, oh, John, you got it, so we'll see how it goes.
It's a good Greg Jackson impression.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Actually, I kind of wanted to ask you about this new evolution and this kind of new adventure here in one, because you've accomplished so much already in the sport. You long-time flyweight champion, set the UFC record for title defenses, regarded for a long time as the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and now you're on a different continent. It's a whole new deal. Yep. What does the rest of your career look like in an ideal scenario, and what are the goals remaining for you?
Yeah, ideal scenario, obviously win the flyweight Grand Prix and then go off and challenge, for the flyweight title and one championship and be successful there. Maybe defend my title 2 or 3 times and then just retire. And right now I'm if I was to, lose out of the flyweight Grand Prix and all that stuff, I will still be content with my career. I've done a lot of amazing things. I've been able to travel the world, been able to give my family a life that I could never do or give if I worked a 9-to-5 job. So I'm content. But now I'm just focused on going out there and putting on great fights and just testing myself.
A few last things, man. Thanks for the time, of course, as always. Yesterday I was talking to Chatri Siddhitang, the one chairman and CEO, and he had a very interesting quote. He said that he feels like the West has tainted severely the term mixed martial arts in terms of the promotion and I guess some of the things that have gone on recently in the UFC outside the cage. What is your take on that? Do you agree?
I mean, I understand where he's coming from. One of the good examples I can say, and this is just, not from me. My wife, she was getting her nails done before she came out here, and she was sitting there, and then somebody who was sitting 2 stalls down from her getting her nails done, she goes, oh, what do you have planned? What are you up to? She goes, oh, I'm about to go to Japan, and my husband's going to be going out there to do some work. She goes, oh, what type of work does he do? And she goes, oh, he does, mixed martial arts. She goes, what's that? She goes, fighting like UFC? And the woman goes, yeah, like that. Well, that's what the woman said. Well, like UFC? And my wife goes, yeah, it's like that. Because she's obviously casual. She's not a hardcore fan. And she goes, I can't stand it anymore. It's like WWE. They're just, this and that and this and that. So I can understand where, Chatri's coming from. But at the end of the day, it's 2 different continents. It's 2 different beasts, right? You have the Western, which, it's not a rag on what those companies are doing. They're doing what they feel is the best opportunity for them to sell their brand, right? And so, and if that's how Chatri feels about it, then that's his opinion. You know what I mean?
Is this a better fit for you? That I guess the way that Chatri feels about building, he said, heroes rather than selling fights.
100%. 100%. I already can tell now. I mean, you look at An Lang Song. I don't know if you ever watched him fight. When he fights in his hometown, I've never seen a whole arena get behind the announcer to announce his name. Not even for, the biggest stars in North America, John Jones. Never heard a whole arena go, John, Bad Jones. No, that doesn't happen. So what Chatri is doing is basically what his mission was, which is to go out to the Philippines and have world champions to inspire the younger generation that come up through martial arts to do that. You look at An Lang Sang, the exact same thing. I mean, I could just go down the list of all the athletes that he's done, and now they're trying to make a venture into the U.S. market, and potentially, hopefully, one day have a fight there just to cater to the TNT deal.
Were you surprised that TJ Dillashaw has a positive for a performance? Well, not performance. We don't know what it is yet, but it was a prohibited substance.
Yeah, no. Yes, I am shocked. But at the end of the day, it's that USADA thing is no joke, right? I mean, USADA. Well, when I was getting tested by USADA, I mean, I was at the liquor store to get me some beer, and they came and they tested me there at the liquor store. So
you got tested at a liquor store?
Yeah. Yeah, she was like, where you at? I was in the liquor store getting some beer. And she goes, well, don't move. I'm coming to get you. And I'm like, all right, sounds good. And I didn't mind it because I don't cheat, I guess you could say. You know what I mean? I didn't mind that, right? Because there are athletes out there that, they cycle and then they get off and then they go compete. And at the end of the day, a lot of people got to understand is that, it just gives that person an opportunity to train a lot more and not break down their muscles and all that stuff and whatnot. But when it comes to the whole TJ Dillashaw thing, yes, I was shocked because I still think TJ Dillashaw is a phenomenal athlete. Do I think he was taking steroids or whatnot? I hope not. When I search deep in my heart for TJ, do I think he's taking steroids? Absolutely not. Do I think it could have been a diuretic that he, purposely might accidentally take? Potentially, yeah. The shit happens, right? But at the end of the day, I wish him and his family the best. I hope they get through it. And at the end of the day, 2-3 year suspension, come back, fight, make more money, take care of your family, boom, you're good.
Do you think you'll fight Henry Cejudo again, or do you think that part of your life career is the chapter's closed?
It's a potential. I mean, at the end of the day, anything is possible. Did I ever think I was going to come over here to Japan and win championship to fight? Absolutely not. So at the end of the day, you never can say never. Like I can tell you this, I'm never going back to North America to fight again unless one championship goes. So one championship will be the last organization that I'll fight for.
So your career is over after the one is going to be the end.
Is it. This is the final chapter of Demetrious Johnson's career in an organization. One championship, I'm done.
Last question. Ryzen has expressed some interest in possibly having you fight Kyoji Horiguchi if one and Ryzen came to some kind of a deal where it could be a super fight between you guys, a rematch. Interesting to you at all?
Yeah, if one championship and Ryzen were to come to agreement, but I don't think that they will ever will because they're basically competition competitors, and I don't think they will give one of their biggest stars to another organization to create content around. And I know one championship won't give one of their big stars for them to content off. So I think at the end of the day, depending on whatever Kyoji Horiguchi does with his career, and let's say Ryzen ends up collapsing or gets bought out by somebody, or one championship buys him out, then he becomes one athlete. Then the potential is absolutely there, depending on where I'm at in my career and where he's at in his career. Because he's still young. I'm getting older. And so I'm like, nah, dog, I'm done.
Thanks, Demetrious. Good luck on Sunday. Appreciate it.